So today we're going to make pie crust. This is a special pie crust that keeps very well. In fact, you should make it and put it in the freezer for a couple days, or at least in the refrigerator. So in my bowl I already have the 3 cups of flour, and this is a teaspoon of salt, and I have half a cup of shortening in. It takes 1 cup of shortening. I should have stirred that salt up, but I think it'll get mixed around. I'm way more picky than the cooks on TV. They never scrape a dish this clean. They leave half of it in the thingy. So then you can use a pastry blender or 2 knives, but I've learned that the easiest thing for me is a meat fork. Cut your shortening in. You want to turn it off for a while I cut?
Okay.
I always forget to, I heard a trick that I've never used yet, and that is to take your half a cup and cut it in very finely, and then the second half cup just cut in coarsely.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never tried that yet. Or the real pros use their fingers and do this. But for my theory, that makes your dough too warm. I like to keep it cool, even using ice water when I add the water. Maybe this time I'll leave it less mixed than I usually do, just to see what happens. I'm always really breathless when I'm filming like this. It's just the excitement of the whole thing. Okay, so another secret to this recipe is 1 egg, and this happens to be a free-range egg, and you'll notice how golden it is. And to that I add, this isn't the tablespoon I like, but I'll use it anyway. So we put a teaspoon of vinegar.
That's a tablespoon.
Well, this doesn't have a teaspoon on it. So this is a tablespoon measure, but I'm putting a teaspoon. I put it in the wrong thing. So you put 5 tablespoons of ice water. And a teaspoon is 1/3 of a tablespoon. A teaspoon of vinegar. And mix that up. And this is your, most recipes just call for adding water, but this has the egg and the vinegar in addition. And generally for me it takes the whole bloomin' thing, but I won't put it all in at once today. Mix your wet into the dry. in too much. Now really I think I'm going to get in here with my fingers because I don't like to add too much more water. But what I want to do first, before I get my fingers all dirty, is get I make this, the recipe says 4, but I make 3 larger, what are they, puddles of dough. And that way they're bigger and easier to fill out a 9-inch pie plate. And then I always use the scraps for roly-polies. So let's see if we can get this mixed in with that. I'm still going to put just a little bit of water down in here. And when it all comes together nicely, then you make your and when you've done it for 10 years or 2 or 3 years, you know about how big you want them to be. I smash them down because that makes them easier to fall out. And the third one is maybe a little drier, but I think it'll be okay. It's also didn't work too much. You really shouldn't. You don't need pie dough, K-N-E-A-D. But to make a good pie, you do need good pie dough, and there you have it.
What are you going to do with
That's
those?
all. Oh, these will go in the freezer.